Before we talk about the Toronto Raptors and what exactly is going on with them, we have to give props to the Boston Celtics. Because pretty much whenever the Boston Celtics win a good game, the narrative across basketball media is the other team beat themselves. And as a Laker fan, I have to give props to the Boston Celtics when the Boston Celtics deserve it. Let's start off with Jayson Tatum, because Jayson Tatum was an absolute beast on the basketball court last night. Tatum had 34 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And he became the first player in Celtics history to have 3 30-point games in the playoffs before the age of 24. And my Lakers drafted Lonzo over him. Kemba Walker fits in very nicely for this Boston Celtics team. He had 17 and 4 last night, and he just looks like the leader that he is on the court with this Celtics team. Kemba Walker has never been one to panic in the clutch. We've seen Kemba Walker be clutch ever since he was at UConn when he hit that step back game winner to win the championship. And last night we saw clutch Kemba once again. Kemba Walker hit a big time 3-pointer with 2 minutes left in the game, and he hit his go-to step back mid-range with 40-something seconds left in the game. Both of those were big time shots to give the Boston Celtics the cushion they needed down the stretch of the game. If I'm a Celtics fan, I am much happier with Kemba Walker than I ever would have been with Kyrie Irving. But if any Celtics fans are watching this, you guys let me know who you'd rather have, Kyrie or Kemba. And then Jaylen Brown did a very good job of playing his role. He had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and did a phenomenal job playing defense on Pascal Siakam in the fourth quarter. Kemba Walker and Jaylen Brown are those types of players that they can get hot any given night. And when they do get hot, they can change the outcome of the game in a heartbeat. But speaking of players getting hot and changing the outcome of the game in a heartbeat, the player who got hot last night and changed the game completely was none other than Marcus Smart. Or should I say Marcus Stupid, because he went stupid from 3 last night. Once again, I really need to cut the dad jokes out before I say too many of them and become a dad. And I don't even know why I make these dad jokes, because I take notes on everything I want to say, and nowhere in my notes do I have any jokes. So I don't know why they just come out on camera, but that's it. No more dad jokes. Alright, Marcus Smart, what's up with that guy? In one of my videos, I asked you guys how you would feel if Marcus Smart were to win the Defensive Player of the Year award this year. Obviously, that didn't happen. Marcus Smart did not become the Defensive Player of the Year. But Marcus Smart said, you know what, if I can't become the Defensive Player of the Year this year, I'm just gonna become Stephen Curry for one night. Last night, Marcus Smart hit 5 consecutive threes in the fourth quarter, and one of those threes was an and one. Speaking of and ones, if you could add one to the like button count for the YouTube algorithm, I'd appreciate it. So back to Marcus Smart. The Celtics continued feeding him the ball last night, just as any good team would when one of their players is hot, and Marcus Smart just couldn't seem to miss from 3. Like I said, he had 5 consecutive threes, and he scored 16 points in a row for the Boston Celtics. My only critique for the Boston Celtics is that they need to play better as a whole down the stretch of the game. Some of their main guys had too many missed shots down the stretch of the game, and if they didn't have missed shots, then they had turnovers. All in all, you guys did pull the win off, so a win is a win no matter how you slice it or dice it. But if it wasn't for Marcus Smart hitting those 5 threes, and if it wasn't for Kemba Walker making those clutch shots, who knows, the series could very well be 1-1 right now. And something that really helps the Celtics over the Raptors is the fact that they have better individual shot creators than the Raptors. In the past, I've mentioned how the Raptors play very well together, and don't get me wrong, the Celtics do as well. However, when it comes to having individuals who can create shots for themselves, the Celtics are way better at that than the Toronto Raptors. So Celtics, once again, you guys played a great game last night. You guys are up 2-0. I wish you guys the best. But now let's talk about the Toronto Raptors, because they were the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference during the regular season. They are currently the defending champions. Nick Nurse just won Coach of the Year. So what's going on? Why are the Toronto Raptors down 2-0 to the Boston Celtics? And truth be told, the Toronto Raptors played a very good game last night. If it wasn't for Marcus Curry, you guys could very well have won yesterday's game. The Toronto Raptors were up 78-70 at the start of the fourth quarter. But I'm sure sure Nick Nurse and absolutely nobody had in mind that Marcus Smart was going to get hot from 3. So I'm sure the game plan was really to just keep doing what you've been doing the first 3 quarters and seal the deal. So what's going on with the Toronto Raptors and what can they do to get back in this series? Some of you might know that before this series even started, my pick was the Toronto Raptors in 6 games. Now, if I'm wrong, then okay, I'm wrong. I can't always be right. Even though, for some reason, ever since I started this channel, every single thing I've predicted has came true in one way or another. So if this is the first time I'm wrong, then okay, I'll take my L just as the Toronto Raptors would take their L. But if the Raptors win Game 3 tomorrow, I think they can still win the series, and here's why. Besides Marcus Curry getting super hot from 3 last night, and besides the fact that the Raptors only shot 11 out of 40 from 3, you guys only lost by 3 points. That is a very, very good basketball team. If you guys have such an off shooting night from 3, and someone on the other team is playing like they need to get drug tested immediately for how well they played, to have only lost by 3 points, that is a very good basketball team. In fact, how many teams in the NBA can say that they can have someone on the other team get extremely hot from 3? In the 4th quarter, they can have their team's 2 main scorers, Siakam and Lowry, only put up 16 and 17 points each. And they can have their leading scorer, Pascal Siakam, get locked up in the 4th quarter and still somehow lose by 3. Not very many teams can say that. For instance, if this was my Lakers, if LeBron and Anthony Davis only had 16 and 17 points each, if Marcus Curry from the Celtics made 5 threes in the 4th quarter, if LeBron James got locked up in the final minutes of the 4th quarter, I can almost guarantee that the Lakers would have lost by 20 to 25 points. So yes, even though the Raptors are down 2-0 right now, and yes, even though that is a bad situation to find yourselves in, it really isn't even all that bad when we lay out the context. The Raptors just need to do what they do in the regular season. It would be a different story if they were down 2-0 and both of the games were 40-point blowouts. Then yeah, I would say Raptors, I'm sorry, it's time to pack the bags and get back to Toronto. But the fact that there's some actual context and some decent context as to why the Raptors lost last night, and I could also say something similar about Game 1. All of that put together makes me not worry too much for the Toronto Raptors. Now, Raptors fans, I want you all to listen to this. I'm gonna present a fact to you guys, and I'm not sure if this fact is a good thing or if it's a bad thing, so I'm just going to present it exactly how it is, and you guys can do as you please with that information. Ever since the NBA bubble started, including regular season and obviously now the playoffs, the Toronto Raptors have only lost to 1 team. And if you want to take a guess, yes, that team is the Boston Celtics. They lost to the Boston Celtics 1 time during the bubble regular season, and now they've lost to the Celtics twice in the playoffs. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I'm not really too sure. Obviously, it's a good thing to say that there's only 1 team that can beat you. However, on the downside, if this team beats you 2 more times, it's time to leave Orlando and head back to Canada. But I will say, one thing that kind of scares me for the Raptors is that they don't really have any go-to guys down the stretch. And I know Siakam has been doing his thing this season. He's been looking to be the closer, and props to him. But like we've seen multiple times throughout the year, and like we saw once again last night, Siakam is not someone who you can rely on every single night to be the closer. When you guys had Kawhi, it was Kawhi who was the closer, and there was no doubt about that. And that's not to diss Pascal Siakam, he's a great basketball player, but he just really isn't the guy to close out the game when the Raptors really need someone to close out a game, especially a game like last night. In these first 2 games versus Boston, in Game 1 he shot 5 of 16 from the field, and in Game 2 he shot 6 of 16 from the field. He had 17 points last night when he's averaging 23 for the season, and in Game 1 he only had 13 points. And I wouldn't be saying anything if I didn't think Pascal Siakam was capable of better. For example, I don't say anything when the New York Knicks lose because I kind of expect that from them. So the fact that I'm saying this about Pascal Siakam is only because I know he's capable of more. Pascal Siakam has surprised me in the past with the way he stepped up his game in the playoffs. And I really hope he steps up his game once again, because I'm sure Pascal Siakam and I'm sure the Toronto Raptors don't want the narrative to change. Right now, the narrative is is that Pascal Siakam can step his game up in the playoffs when he needs to. If the Raptors lose this series and if Pascal Siakam continues to underperform, I don't know if last year's narrative can still be said about Pascal Siakam, which is that he steps his game up in the playoffs. So Pascal Siakam, the Toronto Raptors really need you right now. And even though I'm not a Raptors fan, this is just one thing I need to say. Before the bubble even started, I said that if the Nuggets and the Jazz see each other in the playoffs, I think this is going to be a 7-game series and the Nuggets were going to win. The Nuggets ended up going down 3-1 to the Utah Jazz, and I had some Jazz fans calling me stupid. Now yesterday, the Nuggets ended up winning in Game 7. Now I could go back to that video and respond to the Jazz fans and tell them that they're stupid. However, I'm sure it's already a bad day for them and I'm not going to add fuel to the fire. So Raptors, I'm asking you guys to pull a Denver Nugget. I've been right about every single series I've predicted this postseason, and I just kind of like this streak that I'm currently on, and I would hate for the Toronto Raptors to break my streak. So Toronto Raptors, come on, I need you guys to win Game 3. But hey, Boston Celtics, you guys are doing a great job. May the best man win. If you watched this video all the way through, please make sure to give it a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think of everything I said. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. I post a brand new video every morning, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 10 a.m. Pacific Time is the same as 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to stay in the loop on everything going on in the NBA playoffs or just anything going on in the NBA in general, hit that subscribe button once again, and I will see you guys every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here. If you're still here, consider watching this other video I picked out for you down below. Please just watch it. I'm trying to get to 300 subs, so go watch that video. Let me know what y'all think. And hit the like button on that video too. All right, see you guys.